Today, we're counting down the 12 most powerful General Motors muscle cars ever built. Number 12. In 1962, Pontiac was done playing nice. At a time when most American cars were still heavy cruisers built for comfort, Pontiac decided it wanted something far more aggressive. The result was the Catalina Super Duty, a car that didn't just hint at performance, but shouted it at full volume. This wasn't a showroom ornament. The Catalina Super Duty was engineered with racing in mind, and Pontiac made no attempt to hide it. Under the hood sat the legendary Super Duty 421 cubic inch V8. Officially, Pontiac claimed it produced 405 horsepower. Unofficially, everyone who knew better understood the truth. The real number was closer to 460 horsepower. Pontiac built this engine like it was going to war. Forged connecting rods, a heavy-duty crankshaft, solid lifters, cylinder heads designed for NASCAR-level punishment. This motor wasn't meant to idle politely in traffic. It was meant to live at high revolutions per minute and survive. Weight reduction played a major role as well. Pontiac stripped nearly 150 pounds from the car by using aluminum body panels and a lightweight hood. That meant this full-size Catalina moved far quicker than anyone expected, and the performance numbers backed it up. 0 to 60 miles per hour happened in just 5.4 seconds, which was shocking for the early 1960s. The quarter mile passed in 13.9 seconds at 107 miles per hour. Sitting behind the wheel felt like holding on to something that barely wanted to stay on the ground. Inside, luxury took a back seat. Basic seating, minimal trim, and a structure built for racing made it clear this car had one job, and it did that job extremely well. Number 11. 1987 Buick Regal GNX. By the late 1980s, most people believed muscle cars were a thing of the past. Emissions rules, fuel economy concerns, and shrinking engines had taken the fun out of performance. Then Buick showed up and shocked everyone. The Regal GNX arrived in 1987 and proved that muscle didn't need 8 cylinders to be terrifying. Instead, Buick relied on a turbocharged V6, and it worked better than anyone expected. At the heart of the GNX was a 231 cubic inch turbocharged V6, producing 300 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers may not sound outrageous today, but in 1987, they were devastating. The GNX launched from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.7 seconds, faster than many Ferraris, Porsches, and even Corvettes of the same era. Top speed reached 124 miles per hour, and it got there with authority. But straight-line speed wasn't the whole story. Buick gave the GNX a unique rear suspension setup with a torque arm and special differential that kept the car planted. Drivers described it as feeling glued to the road, even when pushed hard through corners. That kind of confidence was rare in muscle cars. Production was extremely limited. Only 547 GNX models were built, all in black, no color options, no compromises. The GNX wasn't flashy, it was menacing, quiet, and brutally fast. Number 10. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle LS6. If there's one year that muscle car fans speak about with reverence, it's 1970. And if there's one Chevrolet that defines that year, it's the Chevelle LS6. This car was the embodiment of raw American power. Under the hood sat the legendary 454 cubic inch V8, producing 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers weren't marketing hype, they were real, and they translated directly into brutal acceleration. The LS6 Chevelle could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just under 6 seconds, and it blasted through the quarter mile in the low 14-second range at over 100 miles per hour. Fuel economy was terrible, about 9 miles per gallon on a good day. But nobody buying an LS6 cared. This car wasn't built to save fuel, it was built to waste tires. Chevrolet equipped the engine with an 800 cubic feet per minute Holley carburetor, forged pistons, a forged steel crankshaft, and an aggressive compression ratio. Cold air induction fed the engine fresh oxygen, giving it everything it needed to make maximum power. On the street or the drag strip, the LS6 Chevelle was a bully, and everyone knew it. Number 9. 1969 Chevrolet COPO Camaro. Chevrolet engineers had a problem in 1969. They had an engine, the 427 cubic inch big block, that was too large, too powerful, and technically not allowed in the Camaro under GM rules. So they found a workaround. The result was the COPO Camaro, built through the central office production order system. This allowed dealers to special order Camaros with engines that were never supposed to be there. The most common COPO version received the iron block L78 427, officially rated at 425 horsepower. In reality, it felt much stronger. Then there was the legend. The ZL1 version used an all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8. Only 69 of these cars were built. They were lighter, faster, and more dangerous than almost anything else on the street. These Camaros were brutally quick, capable of humiliating much larger cars with ease. The tires rarely survived long. If you ever see one today, you're looking at one of the most valuable muscle cars ever created. Number 8. 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. In 1969, Pontiac decided the Firebird deserved more respect. The result was the very first Firebird Trans Am, a car that quietly entered the market but left a lasting impact. Every example wore polar white paint with blue racing stripes, a bold rear spoiler, hood scoops, and functional fender vents. It looked like a race car because it was designed to feel like one. Under the hood sat Pontiac's Ram Air 400 cubic inch V8. The standard Ram Air 3 produced 335 horsepower, while the optional Ram Air 4 pushed output to 345 horsepower with a more aggressive camshaft. What made the Trans Am special wasn't just power, it was balance. Pontiac equipped it with a heavy-duty suspension that allowed it to carve corners better than most muscle cars of the era. Road testers praised its ability to maintain speed through winding roads without drama. Production numbers were tiny. Only 697 coupes and 8 convertibles were built. At the time, Pontiac barely advertised it. Today, it's one of the most respected performance cars the brand ever produced. Number 7. By 1970, Oldsmobile was tired of being overlooked. Their answer was the 442W30, a muscle car that combined brute force with refinement. At its core was a massive 455 cubic inch V8, producing 370 horsepower and a staggering 500 pound-feet of torque. That torque hit hard and early, making the car feel explosive off the line. Oldsmobile engineers reduced weight wherever possible, using aluminum intake components and fiberglass body panels. The hood featured functional air scoops that fed cold air directly into the engine. Despite its performance focus, the W30 still offered comfort. Bucket seats, full instrumentation, and even air conditioning could be ordered. It was muscle for drivers who wanted speed without sacrificing refinement. This car proved that Oldsmobile belonged at the muscle car table. Number 6. 1996 Chevrolet Impala SS. By the mid-1990s, the muscle car era was supposed to be long gone. The big engines, the wild styling, and the tire-smoking power of the past were things people talked about with nostalgia. But Chevrolet wasn't ready to let that legacy fade. In 1996, the Impala SS returned, and it arrived wearing a business suit over a heavyweight fighter's body. At first glance, it looked like a full-size family sedan, but underneath, it was something far more serious. Power came from the LT1 350 cubic inch V8, borrowed straight from the Corvette. This engine produced 260 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque, more than enough to move the Impala's hefty frame with confidence. 0 to 60 miles per hour happened in right around 7 seconds, which may not sound outrageous today, but for a full-size sedan in the 1990s, it was impressive. This was a car that could haul groceries during the day and embarrass sports cars at stoplights at night. Chevrolet didn't stop at just adding power. The suspension was lowered and stiffened compared to the standard Caprice, giving the Impala SS a more controlled and planted feel. Larger brakes came standard, and wide performance tires helped put the power down. The car felt less like a floating couch and more like a muscle car that just happened to have 4 doors. There was also a bit of police DNA mixed in. The Impala SS shared components with the Caprice 9 Charlie 1 police package, meaning stronger cooling systems, tougher suspension parts, and durability designed for high-speed pursuits. Owning one felt a little like driving an undercover patrol car, minus the sirens. Inside, Chevrolet struck a careful balance. Bucket seats with SS logos held the driver in place, while the rest of the cabin remained comfortable and spacious. This was a muscle car that didn't demand sacrifice. And for those who wanted more, tuners like Callaway stepped in. Their supernatural SS package pushed horsepower beyond 400, added massive brakes, and turned the already quick Impala into a genuine street stormer capable of low 14-second quarter-mile times. Number 5. 1966 Chevrolet Chevelle L78. When Chevrolet redesigned the Chevelle for 1966, they didn't just change the looks, they sharpened the attitude. The L78 option transformed the Chevelle into a serious performance machine. At its heart was the 396 cubic inch V8, officially rated at 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers translated into real-world performance that made drivers feel invincible. 0 to 60 miles per hour came in about 6.5 seconds, and top speed approached 120 miles per hour. For the mid-1960s, that was thrilling territory. The new body design sat lower and wider, giving the car a planted, aggressive stance. A blacked-out grille, quad headlights, and fake hood intakes gave it an intimidating presence. From the side, the crisp body lines made it look fast even when parked. The L78 wasn't common. Out of more than 70,000 Chevelles built that year, only 3,099 received this engine. That rarity only adds to its legend today. Inside, the Super Sport trim mixed comfort with muscle. Vinyl bucket seats, a sporty dash, and subtle Malibu influences reminded drivers they were still in a street car, just one with serious intent. Number 4. 1973 Pontiac Trans Am SD 455. By the early 1970s, muscle cars were under attack. Emissions regulations, rising insurance costs, and shrinking compression ratios had drained the excitement from many performance cars. Most manufacturers gave up. Pontiac did not. In 1973, they unleashed the Trans Am Super Duty 455, a car that shouldn't have existed under the rules of the time. This was no ordinary 455 cubic inch V8. The Super Duty engine featured a reinforced block with extra material in key areas, forged connecting rods, forged pistons, and a specially treated crankshaft. The cylinder heads were designed for superior airflow, allowing the engine to breathe freely even with emissions equipment in place. Officially, Pontiac rated the engine at 310 horsepower. Unofficially, everyone knew it made significantly more, with torque exceeding 500 pound-feet. Despite emissions controls and running on regular 91-octane fuel, the SD455 Trans Am delivered stunning performance. With an automatic transmission, it could run the quarter-mile in the high 13-second range at over 100 miles per hour. Some tests even recorded mid-13-second passes. Pontiac paired the engine with a reinforced Turbo 400 automatic transmission, aggressive rear gearing, and a tightened suspension that kept the car stable under hard acceleration. Wide tires and the famous shaker hood completed the package. Visually, the 1973 Trans Am looked every bit as serious as it performed. Bold graphics, a deep front spoiler, and muscular bodywork gave it undeniable presence. Most were finished in Buccaneer red, a color that perfectly matched its fiery personality. This car proved muscle was not dead, it was just evolving. Number 3. 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. When General Motors lifted its 400 cubic inch engine restriction in 1970, everything changed. Buick, a brand better known for luxury, suddenly had permission to build something outrageous. The result was the Buick GSX Stage 1. At its core was Buick's massive 455 cubic inch V8, producing 360 horsepower in Stage 1 form. But the real headline was torque. A staggering 510 pound-feet, delivered at just 2,800 revolutions per minute. That kind of low-end force made the GSX feel unstoppable. Press the gas pedal, and the car surged forward with authority that few rivals could match. The Stage 1 package added larger valves, revised cylinder heads, a hotter camshaft, and improved fuel delivery. On paper, the horsepower increase seemed modest. In reality, many testers believed output was well over 400 horsepower. Motor Trend tested a GSX Stage 1 and recorded quarter-mile times just over 13 seconds at more than 105 miles per hour, calling it the quickest American production car they had ever tested. Only 400 Stage 1 GSX models were built, finished in either Saturn Yellow or Apollo White, both accented by bold black stripes. It looked like a rocket ship, and it performed like one. Number 1. 1965 Pontiac GTO. At the top of the list sits the car that started it all. The 1965 Pontiac GTO was not just powerful, it was revolutionary. Under the hood was Pontiac's legendary 389 cubic inch V8, producing 335 horsepower in standard form. With the tri-power setup, 3 two-barrel carburetors, output jumped to 360 horsepower. That power, combined with a relatively lightweight body, made the GTO brutally quick for its time. Press the throttle too hard, and the rear tires protested immediately. Pontiac refined airflow through the cylinder heads and intake runners, creating an engine that pulled hard across the entire rev range. It didn't just roar, it screamed. Styling updates for 1965 sharpened the GTO's look. Vertically stacked headlights, blacked-out grille elements, sculpted body lines, and a single hood scoop made it clear this car meant business. Inside, bucket seats, a center console, optional rally gauges, and an 8,000 revolutions per minute tachometer completed the experience. Stronger suspension components and better brakes ensured the car could handle its newfound power. The GTO didn't just win races, it created a movement. Without it, none of the cars on this list would exist.